Let's get into the ingredients for the honey garlic roasted carrots. We're going to need 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, 2 cloves of garlic minced, 1 tablespoon of butter melted, 1 tablespoon of salt to taste, 1 tablespoon of lemon pepper. I like my stuff spicy, so cayenne pepper, 2 tablespoons of honey, and 1 tablespoon of black pepper. Also 2 pounds of thin baby carrots and a tablespoon of olive oil. Next, we're getting into the washing of the carrots. We're just getting them ready to be peeled. Next, I start peeling the carrots. I start at the top and then I do the bottom. And then I also like to put a grocery bag in the sink to catch all the scraps to avoid making a bigger mess. Next, I'm going to start cutting the carrots. I want to cut off the bottom part and then split the carrot right down the middle. After cutting the carrots, we want to lay them down on a baking sheet and make sure that all of them are facing the same direction, so tops on the tops and bottoms on the bottom. And then we're going to drizzle with olive oil and get into making the mixture. So next I'm going to add the 1 tablespoon of butter melted and 2 cloves of garlic minced into a mixing bowl. And as you can see, I'm trying to get all the garlic in there because that's my favorite part of this dish. So now we're going to start adding some of the other ingredients, starting with black pepper. There's measurements for this in our blog, but I just do everything to taste. Now we're going to start adding the cayenne pepper. Like I said in the beginning, I like my vegetables spicy, so I added a lot. Next we're going to add salt. Next we're going to add lemon pepper. I like adding lemon pepper to everything, but especially in these carrots, it gives it a nice lemony flavor. And then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, and this gives it a little bit of a tangy taste, which I really enjoy. So now we're going to take that mixture and drizzle it all over the carrots. And I'm going to massage it in with my hands, but you are more than welcome to move it into a bowl to get it all mixed up. And then I'm going to just put the carrots face up so it's easier to cook through in the oven. So now we're putting them in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 35 to 45 minutes. Here we are flipping them at 20 minutes to make sure we get a nice tender carrot. So after 45 minutes of baking, we finally can pull them out, and as you can see, they are cooked perfectly through. And now I'm going to remove the carrots and place them into a baking dish. This is best to keep them warm, or you could always store and preheat when ready to eat. And here are the finished honey garlic roasted carrot. The next recipe is potatoes au gratin. We're going to need a half a cup of heavy whipping cream, 1 shallot diced, 3 cloves of garlic minced, a half a cup of Parmesan cheese grated, 1 cup of Gruyere cheese grated, 3 tablespoons of butter, salt to taste, cayenne pepper to taste, and of course black pepper to taste. You're also able to throw thyme into this recipe. Lastly, we're going to need 5 gold or white potatoes washed and peeled. Next, we're going to get into washing the potatoes. As you can see, I used 6 here because I used 2 small ones instead of 1 big one. I just gave them a light rinse and then scrub them individually. start peeling the potatoes. I'm doing the same thing as I did with the carrots. I put a grocery bag in there to catch all the scraps, and I start at the bottom and work my way to the top. Next, we're going to start slicing the potatoes. I had to use the peeler because my mandolin broke, which was very tedious, but if you have a mandolin, just make sure that every slice is super thin. When that's finished, you're going to add your cream, salt, garlic, and all your other seasonings to a saucepan and bring to a boil. I'm going to add some red chili flakes to my recipe because I want it to be a little bit more spicy, but as you can see, I started melting the butter in the skillet. After giving the cream mixture a good stir, I'm going to start melting the butter all around the skillet and even getting it on the edges so the potatoes don't stick. So now I added the shallots and I'm just stirring them until they are fully caramelized. Now I'm going to start placing each thinly sliced potato one by one in a spiral pattern all around the skillet. After completing that process, your skillet should look something like this, and I'm going to add the cream mixture right on top of the potatoes. I'm also going to mix in the mixture a little bit to get it in between each layer to make sure everything is evenly coated, but I don't want to move the potatoes too much. Then I'm going to cover with foil and place into the oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for an hour and 15 minutes. After carefully removing this from the oven, it should look something like this. The sides should be completely golden brown and ready for cheese. I grated both cheeses and popped them in a bag, and then now I'm just going to sprinkle as much as I'd like over the top. After sprinkling the cheese, our potatoes are ready to be put in the oven on broil for 5 minutes. This is going to allow it to get super crispy and golden brown. Here are the potatoes and they look amazing.